Oh, that's cute.
Kind of hate that part.
First impressions.
It's kind of freaky.
Samsung Ballie.
Samsung Pauly?
Ballie?
Ballie.
Polly is talking about the Samsung Ballie.
That joint is kind of freaky.
That's what I think.
Yeah, it's a little freaky. I do like it's kind of like a personal assistant. Like, what is it supposed to be? Always watching?
Yeah,
It's
I
kinda
think
like the government.
it's like the evolution of the automated home is kind of like what they're getting at, allowing the smart home to
Actually be smart
Yeah,
without your assistance.
right without you having to like initiate things like turning the lights on, putting the blinds down, vacuuming.
That's the creepy thing about it for me. Though.
Yeah,
that it's always listening, that it can move on its own,
and
Right.
observe and
and learn.
That's too much.
And get
Like-
smarter and take over.
Yeah, that's too far.
I
It's too far.
I would love to know what, like, when they were developing the technology and they were like, okay, this is kind of creepy. How can we market this to avoid like the scrutinization as best as possible?
Put it next to a cute dog.
Yeah, a corgi and a very friendly woman.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm content with my Google Home.
Mm.
And a lot of people aren't really even comfortable with a Google Home or an Alexa.
Sure.
I'm content with my Google Home to where I can tell it, and I think it's the control factor. Me just being able to control my Google Home to say, "Hey, turn on this. Show me this." It just doesn't do it on its own.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if I spilt something and I could say, "Oh, activate," Ramba. That's different. I'm still giving the command versus it just doing it itself.
You're still in control.
I'm still in control. Hey, Google, show me this on such and such.
Here's a challenge for that thought. Do you actually believe that you're in control? I'm not trying to get like philosophical. I mean, like, a lot of people.
Here's a result from search.
Oh, heard us. See, it's listening.
A lot of people think even though these devices require a wake word, that they're still constantly listening, constantly recording.
Yeah,
Oh
definitely.
yeah, like my phone. I feel like we can talk about something, and then we're gonna go home. We're gonna get on Instagram, and we're gonna see ads for it.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah. So I think that doesn't really bother me.
Mm-hmm. Me neither. A lot of people do get hung up about it, though.
Well,
and those people oftentimes also have smartphones, and it's like,
right, you can't get away from it.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest thing that they did with that was the removable battery. I think that's really the only way how you can really like shut down your phone.
Yeah.
Is to remove the battery, and I think that was like to a certain extent. However, it's like older people, when you tell them about your smart home and the different smart devices that you have, they're like, "Oh, you need to be careful."
Yep.
Be careful of the things that, you're saying and stuff like that. So to me, my theory on that is, in your home, if you have something precious that you really care about or a collective item, what stops a thief from coming to get that item?
You asking or you?
Yeah, it was a question. Like, what stops them from coming to get it? If someone wants to steal something from you, what's going to stop them from taking it?
Security measures, but
if they really want it,
yeah. To what degree does that actually prevent
right
the person that's determined?
So if they really want something that you possess, a person is going to do whatever. If that's them watching you for days, if watching where your weaknesses are,
they'll find a way.
They're gonna find a way to do it.
Yeah, and before there was smart home tech and devices that had microphones in our homes, there were like other ways and other technologies that if someone really wanted to be listening to you,
they could do it.
They could have done it.
Right.
Wiretaps in your phones,
Just
other listening devices placed in your home secretly. Like, and those were things that people were like suspicious about for, decades.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just more prevalent now because we're constantly carrying something that has the ability to monitor us. And I mean, I always say, like, when we talk about that, is why does it matter? Like, the things that you obviously want to keep private and keep to yourself, there are potentially ways to do that. You know, like if you don't want your location to be tracked, but you want to keep a smartphone, you kind of have to just leave without it.
Right.
You know, that's a way to
Just gotta go off grid.
Right. But I mean, like, I always say, like, people are like, oh, the government could be listening to you. It's like, what interesting content is the government going to come across that, like, I have to say?
I say let them listen. I don't
Right.
care.
They're going to be bored. There's nothing going on.
It doesn't really bother me at all. Like
Yeah.
that whole the government is listening and whatever. Like they were even listening before the phones, like you just said.
Right.
If they really wanted to hear what's going on, they would bug your home, tap your phone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know? So
Well,
if they
yeah.
really cared, like,
Yeah.
and I don't think I'm that interested of a person for you to want to kind of find out what Phil Keys is doing.
So do you guys ever think there would be a time, maybe not right now, but like in the future, that you would consider getting something like the Samsung
Yeah.
joint? What is it called? Ballie?
Ballie. Yeah.
Ball E.
Yeah, like ball.
Like Wally?
I think it's really cool. Like, I don't want it because I don't really like the potential, but I of the potential of the negative, I should say. But I do really like the idea behind it, the innovation of it. Like,
What's the negative?
just I guess the potential for observation. Because I mean, hackers, I'm not so concerned with like the government listening. I'm honestly not even really super concerned about companies building advertising portfolios about me, like collecting my data
Yeah.
to like, oh, we can use this to sell to him, because I have the capability of ignoring those ads, just getting frustrated by them. It's like, oh, I was talking about this earlier, now I see an ad, like you're referencing earlier. But I could still like just click away from it or scroll past it. But if someone who has some sort of personal malicious intent, the things that they could do with that type of a device, someone who intends to do you harm or intends to, find something out about you, that can take control of a device that can move on its own
And control things in your home.
Like, and I mean, the kind of smart things we have now, like the obvious main things that all of us have in like our friend group is like lights, speakers,
Smart locks.
right? So like, and they do have like things in place so you can't like use Google Home or Alexa to unlock your door.
I can.
You can?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I do it all the time. Actually, driving up to my home, I'll say, hey, unlock the front door.
Can you do it from...
My phone has to be unlocked.
Right. Can you do it from the actual Google Home device?
No.
Okay.
I could do it from my phone.
Okay. That's, I guess, where... Because I had an August lock for a while, which is what you have.
Yeah.
And at first I was mad because I was like, I'd like to be able to walk up to the door and unlock it that way. But then I was like...
By saying it?
Yeah. And at the time when I had it, you couldn't even do it with your phone with voice. You had to use the app.
Or you could do it by location too. Like I had
Right.
that set up on my phone as well.
Right.
Just by your location, when it senses you going home, it starts unlocking the door.
Yeah.
Just by tracking your location.
Yeah. I just think the like if someone really wanted to do something bad, they could. And what kind of smart devices we have potentially down the future, like they have smart ovens and smart stoves and stuff like that. But like, what about a smart gas range? You know what I mean? Where someone could take control of that stove, turn the gas on, and then spark it. Jeremy's laughing at me off camera. I'm just saying, like the potential for like someone who tends to do something negative.
Right.
Is just there.
My biggest thing with the Ball E is just not being in control.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only thing. I think everything else is cool. Like, just being able to see, what's going on through it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a stationary camera that's only looking at one particular spot or one particular shot. It's obviously moving around and it has the capabilities to move around.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. It's just scary not being in control, not giving it a command and it doing what I ask it to do. Like,
Well, I guess it could also. This is, I mean, I don't know if there's been more about it, but that's the only video that I've seen.
Me too. Same.
So there might be some level of it that they just haven't talked about yet, where
Yeah.
it's like that. You know what I mean? Where you command it, where it's basically like a Google Home speaker that can just move.
right.
You know?
So with the Google Home technology, is it shocking that we have something like a Ballie now?
No, I don't think so. I think it's kind of the natural evolution of that.
Oh yeah, I feel like that's definitely the direction technology is headed in. I'm surprised there's not like, I mean, I guess it is a robot, but not more human-like robot. Because I feel like
Something that can do more physically than just move.
right. I feel like that's like a possibility.
That's probably
in the
the
future.
next step of
Well,
this.
we know that exists,
Oh yeah, we've seen it.
right?
Yeah,
Um,
it's just not at the consumer
I
level
think,
right now.
I think what they're kind of doing is like
Opening the door to that.
slowly
Yeah.
opening the door.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if they dropped the bomb like that, like people would freak
We
out.
got like a full-on humanoid robot.
I'm already
that's-
freaking
that's
out.
Just, like that's crazy. So I think, and honestly, just kind of just us talking about that, me looking back to like the way how they kind of like went about it, it's kind of like the light is kind of like coming on. Like
Yeah.
I'm just like the Google Home.
The Google, I was gonna say
that was just the beginning.
it's the introduction.
And you know how they kind of like just gave you the warm and fuzzies, like, oh, you could open the blinds with that.
Well, it wasn't
turn
like
the light on.
At first, it was just like you could listen to music, you could ask it for information,
Right.
and then it was like it can control things.
Further than that, think
Yeah.
about it. Just being able to wake it up from your phone. Further than that,
Yeah.
just being a search engine.
Use it
Right?
all the time before I walk
All
out
the
the
time.
house. Hey, what's the weather like
Right,
today?
exactly. So first we were using it as a search engine, then we were able to, give it commands and ask it questions.
Tell it to do things.
Now we can tell it to do things, open the blinds,
Yeah.
unlock the door. What is the temperature in my home right now? Change the temperature in my home right now.
Yep.
What's the temperature of upstairs? Now we have a rolling ball that rolls around and automatically turns your TV on to soothe your dog.
It's kind of sick though.
That's weird.
It's
I'm gonna say what Jeremy said maybe like a week ago. It's like an episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah. And honestly, like not even just the technology, but the video itself feels like it's just a clip from an episode of Black Mirror.
Because that's how
Like
Black
the-
Mirror starts.
Like
It's
that
very
lady,
like
that lady and her personality, like that's totally a Black Mirror character.
they're
Hey,
always
Ballie, hey.
they're always like nice in the beginning and everything's like working out perfectly, and then towards the end you see like the underlying
It's like, oh, this technology is awesome, and
Yeah.
it'll murder you.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Basically, where it goes.
Gosh.
It's cool though. It's scary, but it's cool.
They'll have to put a couple more layers of blankets over me before I'm like warm up to the ball E.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
Some comfort blankets.
Yeah,
for you to warm up
a little
to.
bit more.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. We'll see how things end up with that.
So
Can't unplug it. How do you shut that joint down?
sledgehammer.
You don't.
All right.